It's to the weekend. That's my Chris Russo Mad Dog impression.
That's not terrible, actually. He kind of builds it out a little longer, but that wasn't too bad.
I thought about doing it, but then I thought people would immediately stop listening after the first 7 seconds of this thing or something. Welcome to the weekend. Nick Karski and Zensky with you here. I felt like it was only suitable we started that way because we are going to have somebody who, much like me, works in the sports radio industry join us in just a little bit. It's going to be a fun show because 98.5 The Sports Hub's Matt McCarthy is going to stop on by, a good friend of ours. So we will chat with him just a little bit about everything and anything baseball that's been going on because he's a big baseball fan. Maybe I'll throw a low blow to his New England Patriots. I don't know. But regardless, I felt like that was the perfect way to start the show, was with a little Chris Mad Dog Russo.
I completely agree. It's going to be a big baseball show today between me being a baseball fan, you being a sportscaster, Matt being a sportscaster. We'll talk all about that. And you are decked out in baseball gear today. You are wearing a Baseball Hall of Fame cap and a shirt that says, "That's Baseball, Susan."
Let me tell you how this goes, okay? For those who don't understand the shirt, "That's Baseball, Susan," that comes from John Sterling, what he always says to Susan Waldman during the Yankees radio network broadcast. But let me preface all of this with, there's this thing in the radio / entertainment / media world called show prep, okay? Sometimes I don't do enough of it. Zensky did all the show prep today, and he said, you know what, this is going to end up being basically a baseball spectacular between you and McCarthy and the celebration of the game of baseball. Lo and behold, I'm actually wearing this stuff coincidentally, not purposely, just completely by coincidence. I'm wearing a National Baseball Hall of Fame hat and a shirt that says, "That's Baseball, Susan."
Fantastic. That's how you know you and I are on the same brainwave. It only took hosting our show in college for a year and a half and doing 8 episodes of this show to get us on the same brainwave after a decade of friendship as well. But I wanted to do this as well because we were texting before and you said you've been having a little bit of a rough day. Work is crazy. I mean, we're in the baseball off season right now and you just have a lot of stuff going on and you're like, hey, I'm just like swamped today. And that is my job as your co-host and friend to step in and cheer you up, my friend. So that's what we're going to do.
All right. Should I be nervous by this?
No, not nervous. And so I figured I just want to start this again. We're in the weekend now. We're all happy, and I wanted to get you in the right frame of mind as well. So I figured let's just start with a simple riddle, a riddle, just to get your mind off of things.
Good God.
And to get you thinking about some things. So are you up for a riddle?
I'm already thinking about the answers.
Okay, don't get ahead of yourself.
Okay.
Don't get ahead of yourself. Okay, here we go. There are 30 cows in a field and 28 chickens. How many didn't?
Come on.
There are 30 cows in the field and 28 chickens. How many did not?
I'm just going to say the obvious and say 2. Am I right or am I wrong?
Is that your... That's incorrect.
Okay.
I want you, and you need to think about this. There are 30 cows in a field, 28 chickens.
I have no idea. Where are you going with this? If before you cheer me up, you're going to frustrate me because I hate riddles.
So you're hearing the number 28, right?
Yeah.
You should be hearing 20 cows, 8 chickens.
Whoa. Say that one more time.
There are 30 cows in a field and 28 chickens. How many did not?
And I should be hearing what?
You're hearing the number 28, but you should be hearing and 30 cows, ATE chickens.
Let me tell you
so
something.
Therefore, 10 cows did not eat chickens. That may have backfired because you now seem more frustrated than you are happy.
Here you were. You were building this huge surprise up, saying, "I got something for you."
I might have just
put you in a good mood.
I might have overestimated your ability to answer a simple riddle.
Basically, I was put on the spot, and now I feel like an absolute idiot.
No, that is a tough one because I am. When I read it, I was like, "Oh, that's good." That's not a bad riddle.
New rule. New rule before we get to headlines. New rule. No riddles to start the show ever again.
After you watch The Office.
Okay.
Here's what you missed.
But hopefully this first headline will cheer you up more than cows and chickens will. So on last week's show, we talked about how at the time of recording there wasn't a winner of the election yet. Lo and behold, right after this episode came out, the following day on Saturday, the networks called it Joe Biden is going to be the 46th president of the United States. And he is not the only Joe Biden to have gotten some decent social media attention, let's say.
There's another Joe Biden out there.
There is another Joe Biden.
Jesus.
There is a a mayor in Japan whose name is spelled Joe, J-O, Biden, B-A-I-D-E-N.
No
who woke up
kidding.
And was wondering why he was getting so many social media. People were contacting him. So he is the mayor of Yamato Kumamoto Prefecture in Japan. And no rhyme or reason to it, but he said he's just a newfound person of internet fame.
Oh my gosh.
And I think that's just fantastic.
That's pretty good. It reminds me of I feel like this is like one of those running gags in the world of radio or even just sports radio. Yeah. Is that people always want to build up the idea, or people always want to do the joke, if you will, or like the radio bit where it's like, hey, tomorrow, you don't want to miss it, a huge exclusive interview with the one and only Michael Jordan. And it ends up just being some random dude who like lives in downtown whose name is Michael Jordan, just shares the same name. That's pretty good that this guy has the same name and he's getting that social media attention.
Not a terrible idea for this show, actually.
No, we can't do that. All right, we're not that kind of people. We're not those kind of people. We're not that kind of show. We never do bits. We take things seriously here on To The Weekend. We take things very seriously, okay?
Cows and chickens. Okay. Getting into the baseball news, because there is a decent amount to talk about in baseball this week. In the offseason, go figure, right? Not even during winter meetings or anything. But anyway, we want to talk about Justin Turner again. The biggest D-bag in all of MLB.
Oof. Okay.
And we talked about him on the show a couple weeks ago, saying how when his Los Angeles Dodgers won the World Series, he had known he was tested positive for COVID-19, yet he did not stay in the clubhouse. He disobeyed orders of stadium security and went out to celebrate with his team on the field, and I think they said it led to at least a handful of other positive cases, right?
Wait, they said that? Because I haven't seen that or heard that.
I don't quote me on that. I believe I read that pretty quickly and just kind of prepping for the show, or maybe under investigation or something. But regardless, not the brightest move on his part, right?
Right.
On top of that, Major League Baseball chooses not to punish Justin Turner for his actions.
This is a tough one. Because,
is it though?
No, because baseball has been screwing all of this up, I feel like. You know, they have just kind of gone by the wayside with so much stuff. Like I feel like they just haven't been able to figure out how to run the league this year. Like, think about it. Just moments before first pitch happened this season, in a 60-game season, which already took long enough to try and figure out, okay, that they were going to even play a 60-game season. They basically decided, hey, we're going to have an expanded postseason, and oh, by the way, we're also going to have bubbles for the postseason. Like, all of that stuff was just figured out on the fly, and I feel like Major League Baseball has just handled, for the most part, most of a pandemic-stricken season fairly poorly. So I'm not even surprised that there's going to be no discipline on Justin Turner.
Yeah, I guess when you put it in that context, I'm not surprised either, but CNN says here, MLB investigators found that Turner thought he had received permission from at least one Dodgers employee to join his teammates on the field. So
well, and then
that sounds
on
a
the
lot.
Dodgers.
That sounds a lot like selective hearing to me.
It should be on everybody.
He thought he had heard a Dodgers teammate give him permission, which lacks all logic in and of itself, right?
I understand in that moment you're freaking the bleep out and you're thinking to yourself, holy bleep, we just won the World Series. Like,
totally.
I can't control my emotions. Here we go. But you've got to be able to, and it goes back to what we said, think of all the milestones and the things that people have missed worldwide due to this pandemic that we're currently in.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't want to say it's a tough situation, but I just feel like the way baseball has been the last few weeks, it's just so bizarre and so confusing. Like the Justin Turner stuff, okay? Like, he's not getting punished. AJ Hinch, who got, basically told, hey, you can't be a manager for a Major League Baseball team for the next year because your team, the Houston Astros, were caught cheating. He now has a job with the Detroit Tigers. Alex Cora, he's back with the Boston Red Sox after a year away, and he was a major part of that. So it's just like baseball has just been getting so many different things wrong, I feel like, over the last couple of weeks, and frankly, for the last half of a year. From trying to figure out how to make a season happen to where we are right now. It's just been a mess for Major League Baseball.
Yeah, and I think we both understand the pressure that they're in as a business and as an organization to make a season happen, and I'm frankly impressed they got the season to happen in the first place, because I think where we were in the late spring, early summer, there was a lot of doubts among just fans as well as people in the sports community, right? So the fact that they got that to happen, I will give them credit for. Was it executed well? No.
But here's the thing, Zensky, how do you expect them to execute it? I'm not trying to get testy with you.
Fair.
But what I'm saying is that so many people were saying, well, look at what the NBA's doing. Look at what the NHL is doing. They both have bubbles, and look at how few cases of COVID, if any cases of COVID, have shown up. Yep. You can't do that with baseball. You can't find a way to it was already hard enough to try and get the postseason to be played in a bubble. You expect the regular season to be played in a bubble when all of the clubs are playing? Like, come on, it doesn't work out that way.
It absolutely was a difficult challenge that they were up against, and they made it work to some extent. But listen, there is some positive baseball news this week, and just coming out tonight, actually, I'm a Mets fan. Although he didn't win again this year, I'm happy to see Jacob deGrom place third in the vetting process for the Cy Young Award.
He had a hell of a year.
Right? I mean, and he couldn't go anywhere but down.
You can't win them all. I'm sorry that you didn't win a third straight Cy Young, God forbid.
I know. And I read they were putting it in that context. For that to be a small step down for him, going from first to third, I mean, that kind of says it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And then lastly here, sticking with the Mets, some silver linings in the world of baseball. I think we talked about this recently, but Steve Cohen recently had his bid for the purchase of the New York Mets approved to the tune of $2.475 billion from the Wilpons and Sterling Equities, who are now the minority holder after Mr. Cohen was the minority holder since, I believe, 2011, 2012. Yep. He's the now majority stakeholder, owning 95% of the organization. And boy, as a Mets fan, am I pumped.
Did you see any of his press conference?
It was amazing.
Yeah, a lot of people, and not just Mets fans, but a lot of people are saying, hey, this might be legit. And this guy wants to be a contender. He wants to win right away. He wants to win a World Series in 5 years. And, this guy, I love the line that went a little something like, hey, I already have a business. I don't have to worry about the business of baseball. I just want to worry about winning baseball games and using my money that I have to build a winning team.
Which is all that the fans have been asking for. They don't want an out of touch family like the Wilpons running the ship. He grew up a fan. He told the story about he used to take the train from Great Neck, Long Island with his buddies to Shea Stadium, sit in the nosebleed seats, watch the game, and now he's in the position to actually make the decisions. He came in, he cleaned house right after they announced the deal. He fired the entire front office staff, including the GM, and he brought back Sandy Alderson to be the president and the head of baseball operations, which I just think is a fantastic move. And to that point, he said, I'm the guy with the resources. I'm here with the money and, you know, the energy and the fandom to help make this happen. But I have a day job.
Yeah.
I run a hedge fund.
Yeah.
I will be plenty busy there. I'm going to empower this organization with the right people to make the baseball decisions, which is the prime reason why he brought Sandy Alderson back.
He kind of won. You know, people always say you win the press conference, or you know, you win the presser, you win the introduction, yada yada yada. He did, and he impressed, and it's got a lot of people excited. And you know, we were talking about this actually on my show a couple of days ago. As a Yankees fan, I feel like a lot of Yankees fans are kind of rattled, and they're thinking, oh man, there's going to be competition in New York. I'll be honest, as a Yankees fan, me personally, I'm excited for the Mets fans. Like, I genuinely feel some excitement for the Mets, because the last time you had anything to cheer for was in 2015, and I mean, other than that, like, you haven't had really postseason contenders or anything like that. Like, I'm genuinely excited to see what the future holds for the New York Mets here.
It's been little glimpses of hope here and there. It was like, Carlos Beltran is going to be the manager. Not so fast. You know, it's like all these little things that you're like, oh, this is going to do really well for the team. Like, I forget what season it was, but there was a time a few years ago where they're just plagued by injuries. Yeah. And the response from the Wilpons was to completely redo their farm system. Didn't do crap. Right? Steve Cohen is a guy who's grounded in the passion for the team. He wants to do this for the fans, and he is big on analytics. And I think those things together, and his fairly unlimited pool of resources, as it may seem, are going to do amazing things for this franchise.
No, I don't disagree. And I think, again, as a Yankees fan, I genuinely feel excited for Mets fans. And it's not like a sympathized sort of, you know, sarcastic sort of excitement. No, it's a genuine, like, hey, good for you guys. You might actually have a winner here who's going to be able to spend money, make money, build a winning franchise.
Yeah. And to keep the baseball conversation going, we are excited to bring to the show here. You gave him an introduction at the start of the program, but joining now via Zoom, our good friend,
gosh, there he is.
From the town of Ithaca, New York, Matthew McCarthy.
Can we get the rap horn in here?
I'm not going to lie, guys. I've done some really cool things in my broadcasting career. This is like right up there with it.
Get out of here, McCarthy.
I get intro sound effects. Oh my God, this is no joke.
What's not to love about it, McCarthy? I mean, here's the thing. If anything, we are lucky that we're able to get a big get like you, Mr. 98.5 The Sports Hub McTakey here, okay? Like, this is big for us because, man, I remember when you were a little youngster in your college radio days over at Ithaca College, you know, just trying to make a name for yourself, and here you are, man, freaking just blowing things up at the Sports Hub right now.
Yeah.
Guys, it is so cool to be on with you. I'm not going to lie. Like, I mean, you guys were a couple years ahead of me at Ithaca, and you're one of the reasons I'm doing this. Totally. I mean, I, looked up to you when I was, a youngin', as you said, Nick. So this is pretty damn cool. I hope you guys are doing well.
We're doing great.
Well, likewise, buddy. That really means a lot, and it's truly great to hear from you. And somebody who is a New Englander now, like, I wouldn't have imagined when you and I were talking in Ithaca that I would be driving to and from the train station, listening to you give me my evening sports update on the Sports Hub. But it's full circle.
No, it's so great to be here. And I mean, Andy, I don't know how we haven't seen each other. We're like 45. Are you still like 45 minutes from me? I mean, this is on me.
No, it's on me, and we could count out the last 7 months, right? So I've only been here for about 2 years if you take out the last 7 months. So we have some more time after all this is said and done.
No, I'm very much looking forward to it. It's just so good to be on with you guys.
We're excited, man. Okay, so I got to ask you, because this really irked me here a couple of days ago, and 5:00 Friday evening last week, huge news dump in the New England area. And, here I am thinking to myself, oh, sure, this is when they throw this news out there that the Boston Red Sox are bringing him back, Alex Cora, in the middle of election season when all the news, everybody's attention is focused on election coverage and everything like that. But regardless, Alex Cora is back. So I do have to ask, what is the general consensus up there in Boston? And do you like the move? Because from my Twitter timeline, from what I saw, like every single person who cheers for the Red Sox, they're all in with this move.
Yeah, I'm in with this too. Listen, bring back all the dirty, rotten cheaters. I mean, has that ever stopped us before in Boston? I don't think it has. So bring back all the dirty, rotten cheaters. As you mentioned, it was the most Red Sox move of all time. Here we are. It felt like we were on the verge of getting a new president-elect. Took another 24 hours because everything in 2020 just has to be lawn and drawn out. But yeah, Friday morning in the middle of the election, I think Biden had just taken his lead in Pennsylvania, and the Red Sox were like, hit it now, do it now, drop that news, get that press release out there. It was the most Red Sox thing of all time. This is the organization that fired their general manager in the middle of the Patriots season opener. When the Patriots are dropping a Super Bowl banner, they're like, Dave Dombrowski, you know how he built the team that won the World Series, 9 months ago? He's gone. See you later. Bye-bye. This is the most Red Sox thing of all time. They were waiting for this. They couldn't wait to bury it. And to me, I just say own it. Like, own it. You brought the guy back for a reason. I think you brought him back for good reasons. Listen, was he wrapped up in bad things in Houston? Yes. Did he probably bring some of those bad things to Boston? Yes. Is he the man for the job? Yes. So own it. And here's why he's the man for the job, guys. The most important players on the Red Sox, Eduardo Rodriguez, Rafael Devers, and Xander Bogaerts, they all connected with Cora. Yeah. The majority of the players on the team love Alex Cora. And if you're going to turn this thing around, and I think they're probably a year or plus away from turning this thing around, but one of the ways you can turn it around more quickly is to get the most out of Bogaerts, Devers, and Rodriguez. And who's going to get the most out of them? Alex Cora. So I think he's the right hire for those reasons. Listen, AJ Hinch is back in baseball. The Astros made it to the ALCS. Is Cora kind of a dirty, rotten cheater? Yes, but I don't know. Like, he did his time. He served his time. I say bring him back. And yeah, sure, was he involved in bad things? Absolutely. I'm not going to deny it. But I also think he's the right person for the job.
Well, and you bring up an interesting point, Matt, because we were just talking about before you came on here, me being a Mets fan, how hyped I am about Steve Cohen and his press conference, right? And I think that is a large part of why he brought back Sandy Alderson to lead the baseball operations, because he knew that a lot of the players on the team, from Jacob deGrom, Noah Syndergaard, Michael Conforto, like some of the more veterans, like they look up to him and respect him as a leader. And I think when you're kind of at a pivotal point in this franchise right now, new ownership, you really want to have somebody, in the front office who is leading that charge and that players could be, excited about. So I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah. And listen, talking about the Mets, I mean, what a great moment for Mets fans and really for baseball. I mean, getting that franchise out of the hands of the Wilpons is one of the most positive things to happen, not just to the Mets, but to baseball as a whole. Because, guys, we all know this. Baseball is not the NFL, where it really doesn't matter which franchise is good at a certain time. It doesn't matter if it's the Packers, the Patriots, the Chiefs, anything. Like, market size doesn't matter. In baseball, I think market size does matter. And playing in traditional baseball markets, traditional baseball cities, and having those teams be good is good for baseball. All right. Mm-hmm. So, to have the Mets get out of the Wilpons' hands and hopefully into an ownership that will be better. I mean, it will be better. It can't get any worse than the Wilpons, being totally honest. So
fair.
Getting that franchise out of the Wilpons' hands is good for baseball because it increases the likelihood that the Mets are contending. Baseball is at its best when the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Cubs, the Phillies, the Mets, the Cardinals, the Dodgers, the Giants are contending for titles. Yeah. All right. This is, you can't, and particularly at a time where baseball needs that. Baseball needs that juice. Like, baseball really can't afford to have the Red Sox and the Mets down for too long. The Giants are down right now. They can't afford that. Like, we don't need, this is not, again, the NFL. Look, Kansas City Chiefs are great. That's awesome. Everybody wants to watch them. Kansas City Royals, if they were good, the way they were 4 or 5 years ago, contending for World Series titles, that's not as good for baseball as it is for the NFL. It's just completely different sports.
I know. Sorry to interrupt, Zensky, but like I just think of the way baseball has been for the last 6 months, and to me, just from start to finish, and even where we are right now, with Alex Cora getting a job again, and AJ Hinch getting a job again, and Tony La Russa going through all the ridiculousness that he's now going through, and the absurdity of all of that. Like,
he's a baseball Hall of Famer person. I don't know if you've heard that.
Yeah, I know. But it feels like baseball is now just a business all about results. Rather than like any way you can get a way to win, like that's what it's become.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, all sports are like that, right?
Yeah.
But I think baseball is being hurt by the ways to win, because the ways that teams are winning in baseball right now, I think hurts the product. And we see this in the World Series. Listen, the Tampa Bay Rays are a good story, and getting that far goes to show you that money isn't everything, and it's good to see David take down Goliath, sometimes. Like, that's good for sports. But the ways in which teams like the Rays are winning, and it's now permeating all throughout baseball. I mean, the Dodgers win the World Series. They've got a huge payroll. They're, one of the traditional powerhouse teams. They're doing the same things that the Rays are doing, and that, the A's are doing, and these small market teams are doing. But the problem is that those methods, I think, are hurting the sport tremendously, because it's hurting the relatability factor. You don't tune in to watch how's the manager going to manage his 8 bullpen arms. That's not how you do. You want to watch Blake Snell take the ball and shove. You want to watch Clayton Kershaw take the ball and not get taken out after 85 pitches. This is hurting the sport. The analytics are hurting the sport, and it's helping teams win. And that's in some ways the problem. And I feel, kind of dirty sometimes, like criticizing teams like the Rays, who have no resources, have no business competing with the Yankees, getting to the World Series, going toe to toe with the Dodgers. Like the Rays, given the way that, they're structured, and given the, their limited resources, they should never be able to compete with those teams. And they do, and more power to them, more credit to them. But the problem is that the reification of baseball is permeating throughout the sport, and it's hurting the sport, because fans don't want to watch the robots manage the game. Fans don't want to watch, the human element get taken out of the sport. One of the best games we've seen in how many years now? One of the best baseball games I've ever seen was it Game 4 of the World Series? It was Game 4 with the crazy play at home plate. Arozarena stumbles. Yeah. Taylor butchers the ball in left field. The worst. I forget the guy's name, because he was the worst hitter in the entire series, and he gets a knock. Right. He gets a knock that helps win the game.
He wasn't even on the roster at first.
That, right? He wasn't even on the roster. The great part about that is it was the human element. Like, you don't expect that guy to get a hit, but he's human. You don't expect Taylor to bobble the ball in the outfield, but he's human. You don't expect Will Smith to drop a bunny at the plate, but he's human. Arozarena falls down because he's human, and then he scores, and it's wild and everything. The computer never would have predicted that. The computer, if you're just simulating, stuff like that never ever happens. So when you take the human element out of sports, that's the problem.
Well, and I think, like, just the ability, it's a testament for us to have a passionate, informed conversation about baseball right now, which is, again, just a testament to how we have an emotional connection to it, right? Like, I remember my first baseball game going to Shea Stadium. I'm sure that is a pivotal moment in all of our lives, going to our first Major League Baseball game. But I think this is a rare moment in the young life of To the Weekend, because I'm not a professional broadcaster. You two are. So when is going to be the other chance, until we have you back on the show again, Matt, to get you guys to go up against each other in a little friendly game of baseball trivia?
Oh, Jesus.
We could do. I don't know if we have stuff ready now. We can do it now. We can do it whenever.
Don't you worry, sir. I am ready. I am ready. And to sweeten the deal a little bit, to lay the context for our listeners and viewers, Matt, you are Red Sox fan. Mm-hmm. Nick, Yankees fan. One of the most symbolic rivalries in all of sports. So are you guys up for a little bit of a friendly challenge here?
Oh God,
I was born for this.
I'm gonna blow this somehow, some way. I'm going up against a guy who wants to be the commissioner of Major League Baseball. He's the self-proclaimed future commissioner of Major League Baseball. You want me to compete with this?
McCarthy just talked 2020. I'll have the sport saved in 3 years.
We just talked about how much they bungled this season, so I think we could anyway. So here's what I did: is I went to a trivia site. So all these questions are for the Yankees and the Red Sox are coming from the same site in the interest of fairness. So what we're going to do here, we'll just kind of go down the list and see who gets the best of 5 on each side. So Matt, as the guest of honor tonight, I will start with you.
Wow, it is a real honor. Thank you.
All right, here we go.
This is one of the greatest honors I've ever experienced, actually.
It's up there.
Yeah, right. All right, here we go. Who managed the Boston Red Sox to the 1967 American League pennant?
Dick Williams.
Want to know?
God, you're good,
Man, that was uncanny. That was like that.
Good McCarthy.
Oh, you're screwed, Nick.
No,
You are
I'm gonna match up with
screwed.
this.
Here we go.
Jesus.
Now, do I get a chance to steal when Karski bombs on his Yankee questions?
That's not a bad idea.
Sure.
It's not
Why
a bad
not?
I think we should implement a state. I get that I'm the guest of honor, right? You're not the host. I'm not the host here, but I think we can implement a steal factor.
Look at this. Look, if Major League Baseball needs any more examples or proof, look at the ideas this guy gets, and they just happen on the spot. It's unbelievable how it just happens.
Yeah, I say that is all the proof you need. And Matt, yes, I'd say that let's put the steal in motion.
All right.
You have the call from the third base coach. All right, Nick, first question to you. What year did the franchise take on the name Yankees?
1903.
Ooh. Incorrect. Matt, do you wish to steal?
What is the punishment if I get it wrong? Do I like it? Is this just a freebie here? I got to consider this because I've got a few guesses.
I think the steal is just a freebie. If you get it,
It's like strip poker. You got to start taking your clothes off or something.
Got it. Well, who wouldn't want to see that? We are on Zoom. All right. Tell you what, I'm going to say 1913. There's a 3 in there somewhere.
damn, yeah.
I see. Oh, son of a.
Suck on that, Karski.
The franchise began as the Baltimore Orioles in 1901. They were the New York Highlanders from 1903 to 1912, then took on the historical Yankee name in 1913.
They were the Highlanders in 03, you said? 1903? Yeah. That's...
And here's why I know that. I knew there was a 3 in there somewhere.
I feel
but
like
the
I
first
needed
game
it to
at
do.
Fenway Park was against the New York Highlanders, 1912. So it had to be after that.
That time. Look at, man.
1923 Yankee Stadium opened, but they were already the Yankees.
They
at
were
that
the
point,
Yankees,
so.
right, yeah.
See?
Wild. This is wild. All right, so I guess you're still. Is he 2-0 now? Nick?
McCarthy
Or is he
leads
still-
2-0. Yes,
Okay,
let's go
2-0.
on. Let's move it
All
along.
right, here we go. Matt, next question to you. Babe Ruth was sold after the 1919 season. The year, I'm sorry, yes, this is right. The year he also set a new home run record. How many home runs did he hit in the 1919 season?
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know why the number is coming to mind. I think it's wrong, but I want to say 54.
That is incorrect.
All right. Karski.
Wish to steal.
I'm going to say 46.
Also incorrect.
And the answer?
The answer is 29.
That's it?
29 home runs was a real record breaker in 1919. Matt, you were close. The following year, he hit 54 home runs for the in the 1920s as a Yankee.
So, and that's, I should have thought about that because 1919, you consider baseball's dead ball era up to 1920.
Right.
So I should have thought a little on the shorter side, but there you go. So it is the dividing line. Babe Ruth going to the Yankees, having that big year, that's the beginning of the live ball era in baseball.
God. I'm going up against a guy who hosts a podcast called Hardcore Baseball. All right? Like, come on here.
So, and that guy's 2-1 now. And next question to you, Nick. During the 2004 offseason, the Yankees focused on bolstering their rotation. The rotation consisted of Johnson, Mussina, Pavano, Brown, and which former Atlanta Braves pitcher?
Javier Vasquez.
Incorrect.
What?
Ooh. Okay. Can I have the question again, Andy B?
Yes. During the 2004 offseason, the Yankees focused on bolstering their rotation. The rotation consisted of Johnson, Mussina, Pavano, Brown, and which former Atlanta Braves pitcher?
All right. This guy was a bum's bum, but I think he pitched for the Braves. How about that bum Jarrett Wright?
Oh, son of a.
Boom.
Wow. Yeah. I knew I should have.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And with that, that's best of 5.
There we go.
That's
And I will
wild.
say, Karski, because we mentioned the name, I was Little 13-year-old Matt McCarthy was pretty freaking devastated when Carl Pavano signed with the Yankees. We thought he was a Red Sox fan. Like, nope, he signed with the Yankees. I was pissed. I thought, listen, they traded Pavano for Pedro. Pedro's going to leave. They're going to get Pavano back. It's going to be great. Thank God that didn't happen. Granted, we ended up with Matt Clement and David Wells. That didn't work out
Think of that rotation in 2004. They are how many games away from winning a World Series? They lose it against the Marlins, and then they completely implode. And they've got a rotation that includes, say it one more time, Sensky. We have
one second.
Randy Johnson.
Johnson, Mussina, Pavano, Brown, and Wright.
Was that the year Randy Johnson was a Yankee? 2004?
2004?
No, it was 2005.
Yeah.
It was after the 04 playoffs because they went out and as you said, they wanted to bolster their rotation.
That's right. But it was just a mess, man. I feel like we could do like a full show on just irrelevant Yankees and Red Sox players.
I'm all in.
Like, it starts with Jarrett Wright, Carl Pavano. I mean, let's throw Drew Henson in there, Eric Almonte. The list goes on and on and on of irrelevant Yankees.
I will say, though, didn't Javi Vasquez pitch for the Atlanta Braves?
That's just it. So it threw me for a loop.
I feel like maybe we should give you, I'm going to look this up. I'm going to baseball reference this for a second. I feel like you might not technically be wrong. Now, I think he pitched for the Braves after he pitched for the Yankees.
That's what I couldn't remember. But he may have may have been the return to the Yankees after his time with the Braves.
Yeah,
that is exactly right. In 2009, Javi Vasquez pitched for the Braves. In 2010, I forgot he went back to the Yankees in 2010.
Yeah.
I remember AJ Burnett being there and being a bum, but I don't remember Javi Vasquez doing that. And he was a bum's bum for the Yankees that year.
Not good.
31 starts with a 5.3 ERA. That is not good.
It was bad.
So here's what we'll do. I'd say, Nick, since it sounds like you were technically right there, let's just for fun. I think Matt's going to win this game regardless of how many questions we go.
I think so too. Yeah, no, I think that's great.
So let's see here. Trying to find another question for you.
I am nothing if but fair, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Let's see. Okay,
Much
here we
appreciated.
A merciful baseball trivia benevolent overlord.
That's right. Here we go. Nick, you up for one more just to see?
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Gary Sheffield hit his 400th career home run while wearing pinstripes. In which major league ballpark did he accomplish this?
God.
This was also in the 2004 season.
Yeah.
36 home runs that year.
Did he do it in... Did he do it in Cleveland?
Unless I have my stadiums mixed up. Hold on, let me see. 1 second.
Just say what the stadium is. Trust me, we'll know what it is.
No, I know. Hold on. No,
you should guess an ALE stadium because
that is incorrect.
It's not Yankee Stadium.
I was just trying to think it was some like completely irrelevant sort of place, so that's why I went with Cleveland.
No, I mean this place is sort of irrelevant too. It is actually the Metrodome.
Yeah. See.
Oh yeah.
Minneapolis.
Irrelevant, and it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, right.
The most irrelevant in 2020 terms.
Right.
That's right. But hey, I think Nick, you were up for the challenge with Matt. Man, you were a force to be reckoned with, my friend.
I take that as a compliment. Thank you. I mean, I don't know. I don't ultimately know. I wish I could remember important things instead of like Jarrett Wright pitching for the Yankees in 2005.
You see, in the context of To the Weekend right now, that is important because it made you the winner of tonight's impromptu trivia show.
I will say that, again, extremely important kind of in my life. I'm going to put it in like probably my top 5 accomplishments.
Good.
Winning this trivia contest. So I am honored. I didn't have any acceptance speeches prepared, but just to let everybody out there know this is a true honor, and thank you.
Well, thank you for being on the show, man. Obviously, you are doing great things in the New England area. When I am actually going into the office and listening to you on the radio, it has been a pleasure. But where can people find you on social media if they want to connect with you and hear more about your uncanny knowledge of baseball?
You can check me out at Matt McCarthy 98.5 on Twitter. I am technically on Instagram, but I think I posted like 3 things, the last of which I think maybe you two were both in college still, which means that I was also there as well. I may have been like a sophomore at Ithaca College the last time I posted anything on Instagram. So if you find me there, I'm not there. So Twitter is the spot at Matt McCarthy 98.5.
Well, dude, thank you so much for being on the show.
You're
We
the
can't
best,
thank you enough.
McCarthy.
I think it only makes sense that we kind of close the show out with you kind of on the air with us. Nick, does that sound good?
Let's do it then. Real quick, McCarthy, before you go. I got a baseball in my hand. I just realized that. Holy shit.
Fitting for the episode, man. Fitting for the episode.
3 things you're going to change about the game of baseball. Quick. What are you going to change when you become the commissioner of baseball?
All right, first and foremost, pitch clock has to happen. I was opposed to the pitch clock for a long time, just because I'm a traditionalist. But no, you have to have a pitch clock. These guys won't throw the ball, so you have to force them to throw the ball. Second thing I'll change is the television product. You want to gift 18 minutes a night to baseball. Baseball's playing like 3:05, 3:10 a game. You want to gift 18 minutes right there. You cut off a minute in the commercial breaks and the in-between inning breaks right there. You reposition those commercials throughout, the play. There are plenty of times to get ads in, when the pitcher's walking around the mound, wasting the time. You've got catchers going out to the mound. You've got, pitching coaches going out to the mound. That's where you reposition a spot. I do that. So I reinvent the TV product. And the third thing, let's see, pitch clock, reinvent the TV product. And you know what, to me, I think you expand the strike zone because if you expand the strike zone, you force hitters to swing the bat. All right, you force hitters to swing the bat. And as a result, it forces hitters to be more contact driven because you're not going to be able to, just sit for one right down the middle and try and launch it 500 feet, which is the problem. One of the problems with the games right now is that, there isn't enough contact. The ball isn't put in play enough. So if you expand the strike zone, you force hitters to be more defensive. You force hitters to put their bat on the ball, and you put the ball in play, which is good. Baseball misses the ground out to shortstop, because it doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. Baseball misses double plays. They don't exist anymore. Why? Because it's a 3 true outcome sport. You've got walk, strikeout, or home run. We need the ball put in play more. We need fielders to actually do something. And as a result, I'd also ban the shift, just because when you're shifting on the likes of Jackie Bradley Jr., that's the game's just gotten a little out of hand. So we want balls put in play. We want hitters to be able to attack certain spots of the field, because, listen, if you're a left-handed hitter, you want to be able to try and pull the ball, whatever. So I think, with those moves, you can shorten the game, which is the greatest threat to baseball right now, is that it takes too long and there isn't enough action. And by action, I don't mean home runs. I mean balls put in play. We need the ball put in play. We need to move this thing along. That is the Matt McCarthy 3-step plan. I will have baseball saved within 3 years. And then I'm running for president in 2024 so I can eliminate daylight savings and we never do the clock change again. So McCarthy 2024 for president, McCarthy for commissioner 2021. The world will be a better place.
Wow. Well, if we don't have a mic drop, because these are too expensive to actually drop, but let's just put a pin in it. Matt, that was impressive. Thank you so much for being on the show. You're a good man. Great to hear from you again. And Nick, we'll talk more next week. But until then, you stay classy, my friend.
Hey, both of you stay classy, my friends. All right.
Have a good weekend, guys.
This was a blast.